bienvenidos a la Deuces Wild Daily Hustle. Soy Enrique Byrnes y presidente de el mejor cerveza. No abate por No Filter Network. Miguelito San Dieguito, not with us today. Will the Thrill Clark, not with us today. And we had to cancel the show pretty last minute last night as he had something to attend to. But we expect him fully back next Tuesday. In the meantime, we're going to knock out some daily hustles, including this morning. But as you guys know, we like to come on here each and every single morning. We come on here and properly salute our boys and each and every one of you. Yes, 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 yes. Woo! Remember this, folks. When we are juiceful, we are useful, and when we are juiceless, we are fucking useless. A very pleasant good morning to you on the 20th day of August 2025. The Daily Hustle email that just went out a short time ago, went out via social media as well, titled Short-Term Goals versus Long-Term Dreams. Daily Hustle quote of the day: don't ever let short-term results get in the way of fulfilling a long-term dream. Daily Hustle translation: had the amazing opportunity to speak at the Perfect Game All-American banquet and then broadcast the game the next day with Darren Sutton and Jeff Petty, founder of the famed Canes National Baseball Program, as the kids prepare for their upcoming senior year in high school and work diligently to position themselves favorably in the 2026 draft. I simply reminded them that getting drafted or even playing professional baseball was not the ultimate goal. Playing and sticking in the big leagues is. I then recounted my journey of getting drafted 3 different times to make my way through Medford, Visalia, Modesto, Midland, Sacramento, Los Mochis, and Santo Domingo before getting to Oakland. Then going up and down 9 times before finally solidifying my spot on the big league roster. It's a process, and the only way to successfully navigate the journey is by relentlessly working our asses off and doing everything we can to stay in the present moment without being distracted by all of the bullshit we have no control of anyway. Sure, it's okay to have short-term goal of getting selected high in the draft, but let the early round flameouts of the past serve as a valuable reminder that nobody gives 2 fucks where you got drafted or what you signed for when you are making plays, hitting nukes, ripping bags, and earning M's in the show. EB. Okay, so this was a really cool experience doing that Perfect Game All-American game. It was basically the top 60 players in the country that are rising seniors. It's been a while since I've had the opportunity to do the game. I want to say maybe it was between 2012 and 2015. There was a time period there where MLB Network was broadcasting the game. Perfect Game, and kudos to them. They've now developed their whole production team, and they did a fantastic job with the broadcast. You had Darren Sutton, who, in my opinion, is one of the best broadcasters at any level. High school, college, big leagues, does not matter. Darren Sutton is that fucking good. He's that invested. He's all in. And he has been for 17 years now with Perfect Game. Now, Darren was our broadcaster when I was with the Diamondbacks. And what a special season we had in 2007. Ultimately, he was let go for some dumbass reason, but had to do with him wanting to wear collared shirts, and at least the rumors were. Darren's such a pro that he just, hey, look, if this is the way it is, it's the way it is. And he continued to develop as a broadcaster. I, honestly, I think he's really kind of at his peak right now. I was as smooth and as clean of a broadcast that I've ever been involved in. And it's been a while since I've been in the booth. I mean, I sit here and Will and I will call what we call on No Filter Network, but to be able to actually do a game and the ins and outs, and uh, it's awesome. The instant analyzing of the game. I did miss not being able to drop my f bombs or speak just authentically, completely authentically. But I think we did a good job of analyzing the kids that play on the field, which has reached an entirely new level. I mean, every one of these kids was over 90 miles per hour. You had several that were upwards of 95 plus, some next level exit velos. The future of the game of baseball from a skills perspective is in really good hands. Now, from the perspective of the short-term goals versus long-term dream thing, the one message I wanted to get to these kids, because I feel like everybody's enamored with the draft. And you got a lot of kids and a lot of kids' parents thinking this is the end all be all. My dreams are coming true and I'm drafted and all this other stuff. Guys, I love you. And I think getting drafted is a really incredible accomplishment. But I don't care if you're 1-1. That's not the goal. The goal is to get to the big leagues, and then the goal is to not only get there, but stay there for an extended period of time, ideally a decade or more. And that, my friends, is what I would consider fulfilling dreams. Okay, a few hot topics that I wanted to get to. One of those, when we'll stay in Arizona, we were just talking about the Diamondbacks. Ketel Marte has ruffled some feathers. I guess we could go back to last year, right before the playoffs in the last week of the season. The Diamondbacks were doing everything they could to try to hang on to secure a playoff spot. Ketel, after a rough loss, said, hey, look, I need the day off. Went into Torey Lovullo's office. Torey Lovullo gave him the day off. That's what a manager's going to do if you have a player that says he does not want to play. That then has carried over to a few other incidences, which are just kind of weird. One of the big ones being that he ended up not returning from the All-Star game. He went to the Dominican Republic. He had a planned trip. His home was broken into in Arizona. Allegedly, he had lost almost $500,000 worth of items. I think something that would shake each and every one of us. But then he was absent and didn't show back up for multiple days. It ended up costing him monetarily, and it had a lot of people questioning whether or not this guy really wants to play baseball. I can say, just based on how he plays the game and the numbers he puts up, you got to love the game to have the success that he has. There's no question about it. I do think that he is more representative, though, of a coddled generation. And I don't want to, let's say, look, our whole goal as managers, coaches, would be to put your player in a position to succeed. So Torey Lovullo is trying to do everything he can to do that for Ketel Marte. And I understand that. But the problem is that I don't know how many coaches have ever stood up to Ketel Marte and said, yo, dude, I need you in there. I need you posting up in the last week of the season. I need you getting your ass back after the All-Star game. I get it. Your house got broken into. Sure, it sucks. Dude, my van got broken into. They fucking gutted the whole thing outside of LA Fitness in Scottsdale. I showed up at the park the same day, went out, and I don't know. I just remember playing angry that night and actually had a really good fucking night. So we all are going to have personal things happen to us through the course of our lives. When we then remove ourselves and take on that victim mentality, it's almost like, well, they win. So, summing up this whole thing, I can say that, look, when you put on a Major League uniform, when you have the opportunity to play Major League Baseball, in my humble opinion, that becomes your number one priority. Up until recently, I mean, you didn't have guys that would leave for the birth of their own children. And now I think we're seeing a lot of guys take days off for crazy reasons. I think we, as leaders in that world, need to make sure we preserve the understanding that it's your fucking job to show up to work, maybe when all else is not perfect in your life. I used to feel like the baseball field was my sanctuary. If things weren't going right in my life outside of it, no matter what it is, I would get to the field, and that was my place to take a deep breath and focus in on one thing and one thing only. And then when I left the field, I could worry about whatever problems that I was dealing with. But that field was my safe space. Well, understand this, players. That should be your safe space. That should be the place where you go and you're going to have the support of your teammates. But you need to show the fuck up. Simple as that. On that same note, really, some kind of interesting. I'm not even going to get into this. It had to do with Sinner retiring and all that bullshit against Alcaraz. Like, he was down 5-0 and then says, yeah, that's it, whatever, and bails out on his finals tennis match. Then stuck around on the court for another, I don't know, half hour or so doing the interviews and this and that. Like, if he wasn't feeling well, get off the fucking court. Go to the locker room. Go to the shitter. Go to whatever it is. If you're not feeling well, go. Don't tell me you're retiring and then hang out for another half hour. That didn't make any sense to me at all. I like Sinner too. I mean, incredibly talented, but again, another indication that I'm just not quite sure where look, when you allow a player, a generation, to get away with it because they're coddled, then they're going to continue to do it. And it's sort of the expectation generation. And I do think they're fucking talented, more talented than we've ever seen in the history of sports. But they're surely not nearly as hard. So I do think there was an element of us needing to soften up a little bit. But this has clearly gone too far. Okay. Alex Cora, and the Red Sox third base coach, explained a decision not to tag in the 11th inning. All right. Orioles center fielder Colton Cowser ranks in the 95th percentile in arm strength among Major League fielders. The Red Sox decided during their pre-series scouting process that they weren't going to challenge his arm. The strategic decision came into play during the 11th inning of a 4-3 loss to the Orioles on Tuesday at Fenway Park. Speedy Nate Eaton represented the tying run at third base. Rookie Roman Anthony hit a 265-foot fly ball in center field for the second out of the inning. Eaton remained at third instead of challenging Cowser. Then Alex Bregman, the next hitter, popped out to shortstop to end the game. Cowser's throw ended up being offline, but it didn't matter with Eaton not running. Here's a quote from Corey. He says, it's an impact arm in center field. We prepare the series and we decide who we're going to challenge or not. So we didn't challenge it. Third base coach Kyle Hudson and Eaton were constantly communicating with each other the whole time the ball's in the air. We're talking, Eaton said. He's talking in my ear, letting me know. Ultimately, it was Hudson's decision. Okay. Look, this is called paralysis by analysis. You're in the 11th inning. We're trying to tie the game. There's a runner on third base with one out. This wasn't no outs. No outs, I get it. We're not challenging him. But with one out to tie the game, you got to send the fucking runner. A 265-foot fly ball. Colton Cowser has a great arm. But I don't give a fuck. Make him make the play. Because if he doesn't, now we're relying on Alex Bregman, who I got to imagine is hitting 2-something this year, having a 20-something% possibility of scoring that run with a base hit in the next at-bat. This is a numbers game. So if you guys want to analyze this shit, what are the odds of scoring from third base on a 265-foot fly ball? Do you realize how many fucking things have to go right in throwing out the runner? Perfectly caught, perfectly positioned, perfectly thrown, perfectly caught, perfectly tagged. There's a lot of shit that could go wrong there. So, as much as I do appreciate a staff like the Boston Red Sox that are going to do their due diligence and know exactly how well each outfielder throws, kudos for that. But in the nut-crunching game on the line situation, you gotta fucking send him. You 1,000% have him go every time. So there's my very poignant thoughts on that one. This is not a game we can play conservative at all. And then another really cool story. Really cool story. As funny as it says, the story is unavailable. Kyle Karros last night hit his first major league home run. Kyle Karros, of course, is the son of Eric Karros. But the irony in all of this is that he does it against the Dodgers, Eric Karros' former team. It's one of those really special moments. I had an opportunity to meet Kyle when he was at UCLA. So to see him continue to work, get his ass all the way up to the big leagues, and now having success is fucking awesome. All right, other scores from yesterday. The doubleheader had the Cubs get back on track. 6-4 winners against the Brewers and 4-1. So they sweep the doubleheader. They're now 72 and 54. So they're not that far behind the Brewers now at this point, who are 79 and 47. People were saying a day ago that the division was done. It's not done yet. Tigers, Tariq Skubal. I can't talk about him enough. One of the nastiest pitchers of our generation. He is fucking filthy. 1-0 winners over the Astros. And that was a battle. Listen to the box score here of the pitchers. You had Tariq Skubal, 7 innings, 3 hits, 2 walks, 10 Ks. And then on the Astros side, you had Hunter Brown, 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 walks, 6 Ks. Just fantastic. And 0 runs for either of them. Both of those teams, I think we could be seeing a preview of the American League Championship Series. In my humble opinion, those are the 2 best teams in the American League. Blue Jays, 7-3 winners over the Pirates. they're now 74-53. So they obviously have something to say about who the best team in the American League is. But I still like the Astros and their track record, and of course the Detroit Tigers. St. Louis 7-4 over the Marlins. Mets 8-1 over the Nats. Seattle continues to reel. 6-4 losers at Philly. You have the Orioles 4-3 over the Red Sox. We just talked about that game. The Braves, they scrapped to come back for 7 late runs in the 7th and 8th innings. They win 11-10. The Yankees hit 9 homers. 9 fucking homers. 13-3 over the Rays. That's great, but it's just unsustainable. Royals 5-2 over the Rangers. The A's 6-3 over the Twinkies. The Dodgers 11-4 over the Rockies in Colorado. Cincy stays hot. They're now 67-60, and they are on the heels of the Cubs for that final wild card spot. 6-4 winners over the Angels. Guardians go down to the D-backs 6-5, and then the Giants continue to falter, losing to the Padres 5-1 at home. Read a really cool article about Fernando Tatis Jr. This morning that is saying that his hard hit percentage is way up. His contact rate is way up. His power numbers are way down. And essentially, the article was talking about where he's catching the baseball. So I learned this morning, but the ideal spot to hit a baseball is 36 inches out in front of the mass of your body. So depending on where you're standing, front, back of the box, whatever, you want it 36 inches out in front. As you get back to about 30, your contact rate will increase, but your power will decrease. So they're saying that Fernando Tatis Jr. is contacting the ball typically at about that 29, 30-inch range, so not nearly out in front like he should be in order to get the power results. It's an easy adjustment to make. I'd much rather have to tell a guy one more click out front as opposed to stay back when you got some dude with his ass out flailing all on his front foot. So Fernando Tatis Jr., keep doing you. Keep working the middle of the field. And I'll just tell you, one click earlier, one click out front. Great advice for the let them play kids and all the other aspiring baseball players out there. All right. From the Chappers, had John Davis. Hola. From SLC. Is that Salt Lake City, John? Holy shit, man. What are you doing out in Utah? I love it. I got a pickleball match in 7 minutes, so I got to run. Everyone who was listening on Apple or Spotify, if you do me a favor, leave a review. It really helps with the ratings and advertisement and everything else. And then just a simple reminder, if you want to pick up your copy of the Let Them Play Parenting and Coaching Guide to Use Sportsbook, along with a foot reflexology board, go to ericbyrnes.com, where you can also get a Daily Hustle 222 unfiltered life guidance from a human crash test dummy. Pick up an effortless and a flippy while you're there, too. All right, going to Bozeman, Salt Lake to Bozeman, John, for your first grandchild. That's awesome. Well, safe travels, and we're back tomorrow. Enjoy the Mountain West. See ya!